The Bat family finds a ghost capture device. By Rosafi. Summary: Danny Phantom gets captured by his parents in their newest ghost capture device. Instead of getting out for their sadistic experiments, he finds himself in Wayne Manor. Chapter 1: The Open Button. The device Danny was trapped in is classified as extremely dangerous. It was normally securely contained in a Gotham basement, until a certain character got wind of the device's existence and ordered some other criminal to steal it. As the government got the news that it was stolen, they asked Batman to retrieve it as fast as possible. "My higher-ups are panicking due to this thing's disappearance," a Gotham detective exclaimed to Batman. "So you need me to retrieve it?" Batman responded. He hastily agreed and shared his side of information. After 2 days, they finally found a lead of where the device was stolen to. So Batman, Robin, Nightwing, and Spoiler went on the mission with Oracle's support. After fighting their way out of the hideout, they successfully retrieved the device. Nightwing pulled out the device in the Batcave. Something clicked. Everyone stared at him with worry as something came out of the device. A boy around the age 14 to 16, with green glowing eyes, white hair, wearing a jumpsuit with a symbol on it, appeared. 2 glowing rings appeared, transforming the boy to a black-haired, blue-eyed boy with a NASA t-shirt and jeans. He looked shocked. As he tried to move, he fell over, but Batman caught him before he landed on the ground. Then he didn't really fight, as exhaustion came over him from the tiny bit of movement. "Did he just come out of the device?" Robin asked, as Batman laid Danny onto the floor. "How did he even fit in there?" Nightwing observed the device that was only as big as a chin. Batman said to check the boy's pulse. "Is he alive?" Spoiler piped up with worry. "His pulse is low, but there," Batman answered. "We should wait until he wakes up," Nightwing said. They rotated who would watch him in the guest room of the Wayne Manor. It took a whole day until the boy opened his eyes, staring at an unfamiliar ceiling. Then he heard 2 voices conversing. "So he twitched again?" Bruce asked. "Yes." "How long do you think it will take him to wake up?" Steph said. Then he tried to sit up and see who was talking, but he felt so stiff. Did they drug him or something? He decided to use his floating powers to move himself up. The blonde-haired girl ran over directly in front of the bed. The black-haired man followed suit. "Who?" Danny asked, as confusion washed over him. Why didn't he say the whole sentence? It is good that you are awake," Bruce started. "My name is Bruce Wayne. I'm Stephanie. What's your name?" Steph asked. "Danny," Danny answered, still taken aback. He wanted to say, "I'm Daniel, but call me Danny." "We found you in a device. Do you know how you got in there?" Bruce inquired. Then he nodded. And someone came into the room with a tray of food, asking, "Is the young sir hungry?" Then he looked at him wide-eyed. "How long has it been since he had food?" Then he nodded with excitement. Because of that, his neck started to hurt. "My name is Alfred Pennyworth. I'm Bruce's butler," Alfred said while placing the food in front of him. They watched as Danny stared at the food, only moving his fingers. He got annoyed at how stiff he was, and how his body didn't work as it should. Frustration washing over him as he couldn't reach the food. Sighing, he used his floating powers to eat the given food. The food started floating right into Danny's mouth. After the first bite, he started crying. This food was so good. Worried. Why were they worried about him? Danny thought. After a phase between eating and seeing their worried-filled glances. Nobody ever worried about him since that day. A look of sadness crept onto him. His food floated back on the dishes in front of him. Thank you. Then he thanked the people who let him out with a hopeful smile. After eating all the food, Danny felt full and content. Alfred took the plates and left. "Do you know how long you have been in the device?" Bruce asked. Danny shook his head and looked more curiously around the room. He spotted a ghost lady as cold mist came out of his mouth. Impulsively, he tried to hide it, but he was too stiff. The ghost lady was intrigued by his staring. She floated closer, but stopped as she noticed the power he was giving off. "Hey," Steph said loudly to get his attention back. He looked back at Steph. "We would like to make some tests to see if you're completely healthy. Would that be okay with you?" Steph continued. Danny's paranoia acted up as he heard test and thought they are working for Maddie and Shaq. He started floating backwards, away from them into the ceiling corner of the room. "I guess that means no," Steph said questionably. Cass came into the room. She widened her eyes as she saw Danny flying in the corner. "Hey, Tim said we found something. What the heck happened here? Did you feather him or something?" Cass informed them. "I asked if we could do some health checks, and then he floated there," Steph answered while pointing at Danny. Bruce went out of the room to get an update from Tim. Tim told Bruce. The device came from a town called Amity Park, where it killed all people living in it. After that it killed multiple more. For some unknown reason it also destroyed glass, but there was never any mention of a boy being in there. He knows how he got in there," Bruce commented. "He woke up?" Tim questioned. "Yes, but his communication skills are lacking," Bruce answered. "Oh, what's his name?" Tim inquired. "His name is Danny," Bruce sighed. Meanwhile, back in the guest room. "Hey boy, we are only trying to help you," Cass said gently. Then he gazed between them, still wary. Steph nodded, agreeing with Cass. "No tests," Danny said firmly. "Yes, no tests," Cass repeated. Then he floated back to the bed. "Is your body okay? You seem so stiff," Cass continued. Danny was surprised that his stiffness was that obvious. Stephanie piped in. "He was that way since he woke up." "How big was the thing he came out of?" Cass asked. "Like a chin," Bruce replied. Cass looked shocked at Danny. "How? You don't seem at all like you would fit in there," Cass exclaimed. Danny smiled at her outburst and asked, "Who?" "I'm Cassandra," she said proudly, smiling. "What's your name?" she continued. "Danny," he said. Bruce came back with 2 more people in tow. "Dick and Tim." "Hey kiddo, I hear you are awake," Dick said cheerfully. "How are you feeling?" Tim asked. After a moment of pondering, Danny decided to be honest. "Stiff," Danny replied. "How much can you move, Danny?" Steph asked. Danny was never in a situation like this. Should he really tell them? They barely know him after all. It would be so awkward, but then again, if they were his enemies, he was in a disadvantage due to his lack of movability. So he continued to play along. "Fingers, toes, neck," Danny said, with a bit of a struggle. Bruce grimaced at the news. He was a child, with some powers, but still a child. Dick, as hopeful as ever, exclaimed, "Then why don't we bring you back in shape?" "Only if you like that, of course." He nodded once, to not cause the pain from before to resurface. "This might be a hard question to answer, so you don't need to answer if it's uncomfortable for you," Tim started. Then he was curious but wary. "How did you get into the device?" Tim asked. Then he twitched as he recalled the memory, Maddie's celebrating words echoing in his mind. "Yes, we finally caught him! The Phantom!" the echo said. "Parents," he mumbled under his breath, looking down at himself in sadness, wishing he could crawl into himself as he normally did in these situations. But he was too stiff. Noticing the eerie silence, he looked back up. They exchanged very filled glances as if conversing without sound. Another person came into the room. He looked the same age as Danny, black hair and green eyes, with a bit darker skin tone. "Like Tucker," Danny's mind supplied. The new boy seemed to study him before he turned to the others with a question. "How will we get him back into the device?" Damien questioned. Everyone's eyes snapped to Damien in a threatening and scolding manner. "What, don't we need to give the device back to the government? Wouldn't he be like part of it?" Damien explained himself. "Guys, he vanished," Cass pointed out. All of them were perplexed and frantically searching around the manor. Jason was not expecting to hear frantic mumbling. when he came to the Batcave to steal some more gear from Bruce. As he went to investigate, he found an unfamiliar black-haired teen hidden behind one of the many fancy cars Bruce had. He felt uncanny, as if he knows who this was, but he didn't. He touched the teen's shoulders as he announced his presence. "Hey, kid." Danny turned his head in Jason's direction with his glowing green eyes. Jason froze, fear gripping him as he stared in those eyes. "Who?" Danny asked. Jason Todd," he answered. "Are you with them?" Danny wanted to ask, but it came out like with them. Without knowing who he was talking about, he answered, "No." "Help," Danny told him, as his eyes returned to blue. For some unknown reason, instead of stealing the gear Jason wanted, he stole a teenager. Danny enjoyed every bit of the bike riding, the fresh air, and the sights that he thought he would never see again. They arrived at one of Jason's safe houses. The boy, Danny, had movement problems, but makes it up with his floating ability, floating off his bike and inside the safe house, placing himself on the couch. Jason had so many questions running through his head. Like, why did he take the teen with him? What was the teen even doing in the Batcave? "Who are you?" Jason decided on asking. "Danny," the teen answered, and continued. "How alive?" Then he questioned. "Look, kid, I don't get what you're trying to say, and I have to go on patrol soon," Jason replied. Then he tilted his head at Dad. "Patrol?" Danny asked. "Yeah. I can't really babysit you, so," Jason stated. Danny looked expectantly at him. "What I wanted to say, I can take care of you," Jason continued. Then he nodded twice. As long as Danny wasn't near the capture device, all is good. Jason went to another room to change into his Red Hood disguise. Danny looked out one of the windows, marveling how it was still so lit up at night, wondering what it would look like from above. But before he went to figure it out, he felt his hunger nagging him. So he tried to fly over to the kitchen, but fell. It made a loud sound that alerted Jason, who stormed out in full Red Hood attire, seeing Danny lying on the floor. "Hungry," he said, eyeing Jason. Jason facepalmed his mask with a groan. Then he picked Danny up and put him back on the sofa, with some snacks from the kitchen. Next he stormed off to his patrol, but Jason's mind didn't give him peace. It wasn't normal that he worried that much about anyone. It was almost driving him crazy. Meanwhile in Amity Park. "Hey boss, we finally found Phantom's active signature," a ghost told Vlad. "Wait, he's back? How wonderful," Vlad exclaimed. "Boss, the other ghosts seem to feel it too," the ghost said questioningly. "Oh, just keep an eye on them for now. I need to see how the little badger is doing," Vlad ordered. "Okay, boss," the ghost replied. Jason had a real problem. Whatever made this teen so special distracted him from his fights. He needed to end this quickly. Something in him wanted to pull him back to the safe house Danny was in. "Hey, Jason! Have you seen a black-haired, blue-eyed teen called Danny? He wears a NASA t-shirt," Oracle asked Red Hood. He was standing on one of the top roofs as he hid Barbs in his comms. Should he tell them that he took Danny? He asked himself in his thoughts, as he remembered the fearful look Danny gave him in the Batcave. "Why are you searching for a teen?" he responded, and mockingly added, "Shouldn't it be easy for you to find him, Oracle?" Oracle sighed and responded, "He wasn't on any camera, and I don't have enough information about him to go off of. For why we are searching for him. B lost him after Damien freaked him out." "What did the demon child say?" Jason asked curiously as he jumped to another roof. "I don't know the details. Why are you so interested?" she asked. "It's not every day that B loses a child, you know," Jason said jokingly. Jason felt the pulling getting stronger and grunted, "Unk, I may need to end the patrol early." "Should I send someone else to patrol the rest of your area?" Oracle asked. "Yes," Jason answered decisively. He made his way as quickly as he could back to the safe house. Confusion gripped him as he seen Danny chatting with green glowing blobs. The snacks beside him were empty. "Jason!" Danny exclaimed as he spotted him. Annoyed, Jason asked, "Shouldn't you be asleep? It's pretty late." The green blobs turned to Jason with a curious glare. Jason sighed before asking, "What are the green blobs?" "Shades." Danny smiled at him. The shades floated closer to Jason. Jason watched them warily as the blobs circled around him. "No danger," Danny said and continued, "Say hi." "Hi," Jason said very unsurely. The shades squeaked happily and returned to Danny. "Hey Danny, I have a question," Jason started as he watched Danny pet the blobs. "What are you?" Jason continued, and he was a bit surprised that he didn't know, but still gave an answer. "Hafa," Danny said. "What's a Hafa?" Jason questioned. "Ghost human," Danny explained. "You are the ghost of a human?" Jason stated. Danny shook his head and said, "Both. Go to sleep," Jason ordered as he went to change into normal clothing. Danny found it refreshing how Jason reacted positively. Normally he was used that most people would attack him if he told them. Jason put a blanket over Danny and thrown the empty snacks away as Danny fell asleep. And that was the chapter! It's my first ever posted fanfiction, so if there's some strange things, like for example, Cass, she's known to not talk as much or only in specific sentences and something like that. When I started this, I did not know much about the Bat Family, so there's some plot holes about that. But it's also, like, I started writing this in my notebook first, and then I put it on AO3. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like. If you like my videos in general, subscribe, and there's a bell if you want to get notified. I'm really doing this, aren't I? Yeah. On one hand, it's sweet and nice. On the other hand, my mind is screaming cringe at it. So I do also Podfic commissions. If you want me to read your fanfiction or someone else's fanfiction, just text me on Discord. Infos to that are in my channel description. This is so cringe. Why am I doing this? Enjoy the rest of your time and see you next time.